Big Conversations by Ordinary People, Matthias.
Welcome, Mark. Nice being hosted by you.
What we do with our podcast is we host people we think are interesting and people have not really gotten a chance to listen to in detail. We pick from the person they are, so the conversation drives from the guest, and we take it. Maybe if we are to start, we'll start by having you introduce yourself.
Yes,
to us.
Yes. Once again, I'm happy to be hosted on this podcast. My name is Mathias Ssemanda. I do digital marketing, into digital marketing and digital media consultancy.
Yeah.
But currently, my area of focus is digital diplomacy. I've been in the industry for quite some time, like about 8 to 9 years.
Interesting.
And I can say like it's really amazing, and it's a big and wonderful field to be in. Currently, I am stationed at Makerere University as the head of social media communications.
Right.
Yeah. But once in a while, I walk out to big agencies and really preach digital marketing. And I think, like we are here on this podcast, I believe the listeners will get a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and that is one of the other aims of the podcast, is to make sure that the listener can carry something from the conversation.
Absolutely.
So we from that. Now, you've mentioned you're head of social media and communications with Makerere University. How has that been? How has the digital era been after the pandemic and everything? If you take us through that.
I would say that being, because when I was starting into the industry, when I just come into the industry, I was majoring into digital marketing.
Yeah.
These are two different things.
You're right.
Digital marketing, digital communication. These are two different things.
How are they different?
Yeah, like digital marketing is you're using the new media technologies to market products. Like products of the company. Like when I was the head of digital marketing at Africell, which is a telecom company, it was pure about marketing. But here, you're now using the new media technologies to communicate, to perform the PR function of an organization. So the two things are different. So what I would say is at Makerere, it involves communicating research, keeping the institution's image, afloat and good through using social media communication, and of course managing crises. So that's what I was doing. But I would say the pandemic has shaped digital media. Like it has given it a new shape, a new direction, and it has also put it at the forefront, because with the lack of media going to the field to interact with people, digital media has been now at work. So we're looking at utilizing it now to create content and push out content to people without necessarily meeting them, because COVID-19 is about keeping distance from each other. Yeah. So I believe social media has been and digital media has been really at the top.
Now, you are using digital communications and to really run the PR function of Makerere. But amidst the pandemic, a lot of things switched. How was the whole integration of digital into the new system? Digital school, online learning for the students. How is the environment? How is it working?
Yeah, in that one, we actually now going into the e-learning. Because for me, my area is just a small component, and that is the administration of the university. It's not in learning. But of course, as a university, you also transited from the normal, teaching to now the e-learning part of it. And the reports I got from the quality assurance director of the university, it's amazing. Like the adaptability was so good. Of course, the academics, most of them are not used to teaching on these platforms, Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft. So I mean. But people adopted because they were told this is the thing, this is the new normal.
Are you also still a student at the university?
No, I'm not a student at the university.
Right.
I finished my bachelor's degree in 2016, and that's when I graduated. And I also enrolled for some other program at Law Development Center, which is a diploma in law. So I've been out of school for some time.
Interesting. That is nice to know. Now, as a former alumni, and this is beyond the digital bit, yeah? We'll get back to that. But as the issues, what is really the concern with Makerere from your perspective? Because I have picked up on some complaints on results from other students, things like that.
Yes.
What is in the administration that you think is in an issue? Because you've also been in the PR side of it,
Yes.
so you're more focused on getting out what the university is really doing good, and that is no doubt. The rankings are good. I understand it's the 569th best university in the world.
Yes.
So yes, the numbers are good, and also the 8th in Africa,
Yes.
I think.
Yes, I'll come to that about
Yeah.
the rankings. Yeah, the rankings are not static, and of course there is nobody that ranks universities. Like, there is no known body by maybe like when you look at UN, like UN as an entity that ranks universities. Those are many rankers. So I would also dispute what you're saying that probably it is 8th, because there are about 5 organizing rank universities. So in some rankings we come when we are among the top 5.
Yeah, because I also know that it is the best in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yes. Then others come when we are 8th. But for me, because now even our competitors shift. When we shift to the 5th,
Exactly.
our competitors in some other rankings who are on top come down. But what I would say is the university has been around for now 100 years, because we're going to make 100 years in 2022.
Yeah.
Being among the top 10 universities on the continent, it's massive. In Uganda alone, we are around 69 to 70 universities. But I really don't want
To go into to
yes.
the nitty-gritty.
But being among the top 10 tremendously for the last 100 years consistently is a vote of confidence in an institution, because me and you know that institutions collapse. There were universities that started before Makerere in Africa. They actually didn't only decline, but they collapsed and even closed.
That
because
is,
they are no longer existing.
Like which university has collapsed?
There were universities in Africa, because Makerere University is among the oldest universities. We are around number 8.
Yeah.
But there were universities like the University of Timbuktu. If you go and read about it, it was destroyed. Like it was destroyed.
But Makerere has stayed standing.
So of course there are those issues that the sophistication. I think what is affecting Africa's oldest university is the slow the slow pace in transiting to modern university. That's what even maybe affects Makerere.
What
The system.
in this case? What do you mean modern?
Of course, systems that are in African universities were established by the founders, who were primarily the British.
Yes.
Most of us.
The colonials. There's people that colonize us. Yeah.
Yes. So we have taken time to transit, to revamp our structures and systems, so that these systems can serve the better purpose of a modern student. Because today, as a young fella at a university, as a young staff, I also feel like probably we need to change our systems so that they can adapt to what the young people want, the speed with which services are offered. But I believe the university is getting there, and things are already changing. Because if there are new young people like us who are now working in the university, it means that we see the problems and suggest solutions that are very fast.
I also understand that the university just recently got a new guild president.
Yeah.
How do you rate the political environment in elections? How would you compare it to the national level? Because Makerere has also produced no matter people who have been presidents of our country times back. So how it treats its political environment is very, very, very key to how later we perform, because it produces a generation that turns out to run the national. So how would you rate this system? Because I was told by a friend that now they're voting online, and now this is really into you. It's digital part. So you're in the digital world.
Yes, I was one of the supporters of the shift in this.
Yeah.
One, like commenting about what you say. The political landscape at Makerere University. Makerere University is historically a political university. Like when you look at the way things are done in the 60s, what influenced the politics in the region, not only in Uganda, but politics in the region was influenced by Makerere. Scholars used to come from wherever, from across Africa, and they would all come to Makerere. And actually, the first conference, African conference, for poets, people were in poetry and writing, was in Makerere, where the Guji Wathiongo came, the Wole Soyinkas came at Makerere in the 60s. Yeah.
With all that history, though, now how is that transitioning to? Because I don't know. It is popular knowledge that there are always strikes around these things and the university and all that. So I am just looking at how you rate the political environment to the process of getting a guild president to our process of making the president.
Yeah.
Is it free and fair? Or is it still very politicized? By the leading fires? Because I had all the guild presidents who are coming from now People Power.
Yes.
And is that
Yeah.
such a huge influence?
Yes.
At the
What
national
happens?
politi-
What happens in Makerere has a ripple effect on what happens in the politics of the country.
Totally.
And again, what happens in the politics of the country
Yeah.
usually has a ripple effect on what happens in the university politics here. For example, I'll tell you key facts. Almost 90% of the parliament of Uganda are graduates of Makerere. So these are people who were exposed to the politics in the university, which is historical in nature, and now they're in the national politics.
Yeah, but 90% seems a huge number.
Yeah,
no?
it is a huge number, but that's the fact. Because even when you look at those that have gotten their second degrees, most of them come to Makerere. Like, he may not have gotten his first degree
From Makerere,
but they again come back. But with the 90%, I'm talking about people who have been at Makerere, they have studied at Makerere. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the information is there on the website of Parliament. You can go and cross-check.
So I also know you are the founding how can I say it? The founding manager or director of Top Bloggers Uganda, also president.
Yes.
Take us through Top Bloggers and.
Yeah, Top Bloggers is an idea that I conceptualized when I was still at Africell. When I was in the telecom industry. One of my goals was to change the way influencers were being viewed. Actually, the entire thing of influencing for brands. I won't want to take credit so much for it. I gave it life when I was at the telecom company, when I was at Africell. I saw young people having numbers on social media, and I was like, but how can these young people, be galvanized, like, so that they can get money from the numbers that follow them on social media? Yeah, it was already a big thing in other countries, but here in Uganda, apart from people, making some kind of noise.
And let's go into the whole influencing thing.
Yeah.
So if I have numbers, what is the minimum follow you're supposed to have to be an influencer? Let's start there.
There is no minimum follow. An influencer is someone who is built their brand both online and physical.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the entire issue of influencing has been misconstrued in Uganda. That whoever has a bigger following.
Exactly, that is what I'm
saying. No, an influencer, you must have, first of all, a personal brand offline and online. Online is just supporting.
When you speak of a personal brand, this is when you intentionally curate what you're putting out there to the world.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're building your personal brand. Yes. And an influencer is supposed to be someone who has done that. Yes. So any other person who just has numbers can fail to be an influencer.
Yes, you can't be an influencer because at the end of the day, for example, let me tell you, there are catfish accounts.
Exactly.
And parody accounts.
Yeah.
Would you want to tell me that a parody account, because it is followed by 100,000 people, automatically becomes an influencer? It means that people attach value to even the person behind it.
How do we weigh the value of an influencer if now I have an influencer to market this water?
Yes.
How do we weigh into the value that, because you see, even if they use the catfish account or their numbers, and you know how people get follow numbers is also weird.
Yes.
People do follow trends, so you realize that there are Asians in this one's follow count, so I have my brand and I want to approach you, and now your following has people that are actually not my target client. But you have the numbers. I am seeing that the videos are, if we're posting videos, I see the eyeballs. How do I then get value?
What I was saying, the reason why I'm saying that there must be a personal value attached to you as an individual is, like, if I see your content online, I must attach, because if you're marketing this water, I'll have to say that Mark Keron is endorsing this water. That means that beyond your following on Twitter and tweeting about it, I know you as an individual. I believe in your values.
Yes.
You understand?
All right.
There are people who would say that if Mark Keron is endorsing this product because they know you as an individual. You have seen live videos of you and they know your face.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying that an influencer must have, again, a personal value attached to them beyond the social media following. Like on ground, what are you? That's why we're seeing that most of our young people who have a bigger following on social media have not made it to big brands to sign them and endorse them as influencers. Still, what you hear are the Shira Kashumbas, you hear the Fikfa makers, the Lydia Jasmine's being endorsed as influencers by brands signed because they have another personal value. What you see on Twitter is just it's just
tweets.
air.
They're fictional.
It's
It's
just
fucking.
it's fiction. There is nothing like influencing.
Make believe.
Yeah.
But when you say that, so how is top bloggers then positioned to make sure that the people that sign to it are now actual influencers they attack?
Yeah, one of the things I was still telling you that one of the things that inspired me was to sit down with all digital managers of brands in the country, and we formed this organization called Top Bloggers. We are the top bloggers because we speak on behalf of the brands. When you see a tweet from Makerere University or from a telecom company or from a company, an organization, there is that person behind it. He's the blogger number one because he is speaking on behalf of the brand.
In this case, by the way, who is a blogger? Just for clarity to have it, who is like a blogger? Because in my understanding, which I know it is, it's not like the real actual thing. People who write blogging.
Yes. I know. I mean, before social media became a thing, there were blogs. Like people could sign up on WordPress, and even the understanding of blogging again was misconstrued. If I have my personal website, which is hosted, and I publish, I am a blogger there. But now with media, with new media technologies, blogging has transformed.
Yes.
If someone publishes their content on a media platform, new digital media platform, they are automatically bloggers, as long as that information is created on a particular topic. Like they are strictly talking about a particular topic. If you are on Medium, for example, Medium is a platform for people who publish. You cannot say that someone who doesn't have a website and is publishing on Medium is not a blogger. That person is essentially a blogger.
But to my understanding, even tweeting is microblogging. If I'm putting my stories in tweets into that, so I can pass to be a blogger.
Actually, the moment Twitter changed the category in all app stores from a social networking app, a news and media app, they transformed the entire thing about blogging. They changed the topic about who a blogger is, because now people on Twitter, they now consider themselves as bloggers, which is true. As long as someone has in their bio, they will tell you that my niche is this, and you always follow their contents about that. That one is a blogger.
So the blogger in this case is supposed to actually specifically talk about their niche in their bio.
Yes, and then the content you always put out has to specifically be talking about that.
Now, speaking of content, because there is a Netflix series I used to enjoy at some time at the beginning of last year. It was called The Circle. So in The Circle, this is how they showed catfishing, how it happens. You can be... someone has a profile, they're running a different profile from who they are. But because also this is beneficial, there is the plus to catfishing is I could want business, but then I do not want my life on the internet, because I understand the effects and the damages of having my data shared to these applications, the Facebooks, the Twitters, and what they're using the data to their personal benefits. So I would run a catfish account to then make business. How then do I fit in to be an influencer in this case? If I'm running a catfish account, that is because it has the numbers, I'm also just deciding to push content, but I am totally not there. Can it fit to be an influencer? And how you also position in Facebook, Twitter, I don't know, we'll talk about that in the conversation, to differentiate between the fakes and the real. Because I understand you have a hand, I don't know, about verification and things like that.
You see, with catfish accounts, with social media and influencing, at the end of the day, people will need to see your face, because for you, you're talking about it in the sense that you're only going to be publishing plain tweets and text content. But at one moment, I want to see you going live and endorse a product.
Yes.
That's what I talked about in the beginning, that people must attach the face value of an influencer. Like, who are you in reality? So when that fails, if you can't show that, at one time, for example, you've had like someone, an artist, will hack an artist's account. And then he says, my account was hacked. After a few days, we help them get the accounts back. And then he will post and say, this is my account, I've gotten control over it. But fans will tell him, you go live. So that we confirm that it's you.
It is you now.
So that's when catfish accounts cannot, sustain prominence. And of course, social media companies are also trying to get up to speed. Like, they're not allowing some of these practices. And over time, we're not going to see such kind of things being done over time, because it has not benefited. Even when Twitter had a parody policy, they were allowing parody accounts. They are reversing it. They're realizing that it's not helping their platform. Because some people are naively, like, but by their way of lifestyle, they don't know. So someone can differentiate between a parody account and a real account of the president of the country. So they will take what comes from a parody account as serious stuff. So whether you have a policy about parody accounts.
But then, doesn't this give Twitter or Facebook absolute power, too much power into our decision making in life? Because you see, if now Twitter has to tell that maybe this person is not real, but like I told you, I know what they're using my data for, so I would want to still get the business from them, but without sharing my personal data, because they have misused my personal data. It is on record, they took courts over this. So doesn't it now give Twitter or Facebook absolute power, which is very dangerous for now companies? Because now in the future, how it looks like when you consider it in the future, it means that Twitter and Facebook will be able to decide who our presidents can be by influencing. Because you see, this is how Trump became president. The theory I understand is that he had to manipulate Google Internet in the beginning, do all that. So what's the position? Do you think these companies are getting so much power?
I think they are getting so much power because of the times we are in. Like, we have to accept that we cannot do away with them. But again,
how can it be a fair game to us? How do we get it?
They are owned by people who have interests at the end of the day, just like political parties have interests here. Like, the agenda determines how a country is run, but you know that there are not so many people that lead a political party. So even these social networking companies, they have people. But again, talk about your fears. Your fears about how your data is used. Before you sign up these platforms, they have policies. But people like clicking agree just without reading that entire thing. No one takes time.
What happens when I read the entire thing and the rules?
I mean, when you read it, you can know whether these guys are going to sell your data, and then you opt out.
Don't they like, because Facebook?
So I was telling you that if you look at these policies, they are there. Like, for example, someone has bought an iPhone. When you're buying this iPhone and you have it in your hands, when you're setting it up, there is a very huge kind of list of policies, and then there is a blue word there, agree. But because you've already gotten this device and you've loved it, like you say, agree, without necessarily reading. Because by reading it, you can say, I'm not going to use this one. But, like, we are all into this. That shows you that these things are like, some people,
and now the new normal.
Some people call them probably satanic. Because they are irresistible. Like, you go to sign up on Twitter, like, even if they told you today that Twitter has changed their policies, and they send you this policy to read it through, you can't deactivate your account. And you wonder why people are so much attached to these platforms. I for sure know that there are international celebrities who have these platforms because they can't agree to their policies. But those are a few. It's not even 1%. There are a few known, and these guys signed up.
For the instance of where now Twitter banned like Trump's account, maybe Trump was being reckless and all that, but don't you think that is a bit unfair that now they even decide who gets to talk to people? Because we are in a world where we're advocating for free speech. This is everyone's manifesto has bringing freedom of speech and everything. Now we are being censored in this case.
I entirely agree that of course the implementation of these policies is unfair. For example, look at what Twitter did to Trump. There are very many world leaders on social media.
Exactly.
The African dictators on social media, like they have verified Twitter accounts. And you know what happens in African countries? People are being killed, people are being imprisoned, people are like banged every day. Why don't you wake up and say that we are going to
Speaking of course, of that, when you say African dictators who have verified accounts, and you are in the process of getting these accounts verified. Okay, I think for the president it's too far. I don't know, but what is first of all the process? Why isn't who gets verified, and what's the importance of being verified? Isn't that giving so much power, creating other kings, like how now, like in our culture, we're both Baganda, Ssemanda and Wamala. We know that king is given some absolute power, unique power than any other person. Now this is what it is happening. You're now putting, I don't even want to say capitalism but there's now another level to it with the badge.
The badge puts some users above others.
Exactly,
which is not actually what it's supposed to be. The badge is supposed to create the clarity and the distinction that this account represents this person and who they are. Because when these accounts were normally the way they were before the badges, and the badge hasn't been around by that for a long time. The first verified accounts were on Facebook, and that was around 2008, 2006. I would say around that time. That's when it was Facebook that first started the verification thing. But the idea of verification is to create that distinction, because if you have a president who is on Twitter, and again another person can randomly create an account in the name of that president, people will not know who the president is. So with these social media companies saying no, let us create the idea of verification, the badge. This badge should identify, like this
the official communicator,
the official account of this individual, and to different from other accounts that are being created by anonymous people.
What entails getting a badge?
Of course, each and every social network company has set up their own, guidelines on what entails getting a badge. What entails getting a verification badge on Facebook is not the same as Twitter. It's not the same as Instagram. For example, I'll give an example. A company that has two companies within, that is Facebook. It has Instagram and again Facebook as a company. And they both verify people. But the criteria for getting verified on Instagram is different from the criteria of getting verified on Facebook. And yet these are two companies that are the same.
Imagine.
So the demands for Instagram are extremely higher. And again, the demands of being verified on Facebook are also high, but a bit relaxed. So
then Twitter.
Yeah. And again, Twitter, same thing. They have worked on theirs. You've read them before.
I actually don't understand. There's a time where people claim to have paid to get badges.
Yeah, of course, those things were there, but every company has its own loopholes. But even Facebook, in the beginning, they had some loopholes in the system. Like some people could pay their way out. You can't deny that. Facebook cannot come and say that yes, it happened. But there could be some employees inside Facebook.
Oh, okay. You're saying paid, that was black market entirely?
Yes, who are paid who were paid, and people could get their badges, like they could get the badges. But for now, they have put a grip on all the entire system. I think you can't get the badge unless you really want it. You can't get the badge. Yeah.
So, okay, I don't know. I want to look into the criteria of being worth it to get a badge in this case. Yeah. So, imagine I'm growing an influence, like an influencer, content creation. And now there are, of course, other people that will come up.
Like I said, Keron, you can be, for example, you have a podcast.
Yes.
The podcast can qualify to be verified.
Yeah. How does it qualify to be verified?
Because Facebook will tell you that news organizations are verified. So an account of a podcast can get verified. Yet you're the owner of the podcast.
Cannot. Yeah. But that's understandable.
Now, the criteria of verifying a
personal brand.
A personal brand, like a person, is different. You must be up there in numbers of following. There must be very many leads on news that have written about you as a person. Like there should be several news.
Outlets talking about.
Okay. I've talked about you.
Your SEO should be up there.
Yeah. For example, you see in crisis. There is a person who has raised an crisis. That person instantly gets verified. You saw what happened to Vanessa. This
Nakate.
Like so many, international media houses writing about you in a space of 2 days, even if it's one day. it raises the eyebrows. And right there, these tech companies get interested in you properly. Who are you? Why is everyone writing about you? They'll verify you, Mr. Andrew.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that is very interesting. Now, on content creation, because I'm looking at how can I say it? They're creating content, they're doing this. How are they being protected? We are in a world where UCC is passing all these laws.
Yeah.
So how is the blogger protected in this case?
I know it's really very interesting, and for us in African countries, and of course of recent China is coming up so much in the media.
Yeah.
Over their intolerance to free speech. So this is something that was fundamentally known for Africa. Yeah. But yes, a blogger, there is nothing much a tech company can do. Like, for example, Facebook will do, Medium will do, or Twitter will do to protect you and your rights.
Yeah.
For them, they protect your rights by giving the platform. Like, you have the right to say what you want. But back home, like, if in your country you don't have,
umbrella groups.
Yes. Even when you have umbrella groups, it depends on the nature of the country you're in. It doesn't matter. Yeah. They will clamp down on you if you write, extensively against government. If you write extensively about topics that a specific group of people who have power and do not want to hear. So I think at the end of the day, it's the international bodies that we look up to, that every society looks up to come in and protect, because there is also why most of these international bodies came in place. They came in place after the world and going through hell, like there were a lot of wars. So different countries came together and said, you know what, we need to sign and set up bodies that oversee us in neutrality, like where they don't side with anyone, but they can say this is wrong. So I think at the end of the day, what I would say is whichever bodies, unions that are in Africa or that in the world that advocate for writers, they need to again look at international bodies, because for them we believe they come from a little perspective and they are protected. They come in to caution governments that please what you're doing is wrong. But of course there are world powers that do not listen to such. For example, look at China. It's a country of 1.4 billion people. It's now, though the US doesn't want to agree, this is the largest economy in the world now.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think China is really
So you cannot just come up and say that you're UN and you've come to implement, like, what's happening in Hong Kong. So these guys don't care. Like, they're above there. So at the end of the day, there is still that challenge.
What do you think about NFTs into protection of bloggers? Do you have an idea about non-fungible tokens?
I don't have.
So I'm not very worried. Yes. I thought maybe you had a way of that. Okay. Just maybe to slightly drive into it, cryptocurrencies and that world. How is it helping the digital side of things?
Yeah, of course. What the digital world is creating is people want to lessen the control. So people are believing in the idea that let things be free, let no one control the world. So I think if you look at the digital idea, the digital world and now cryptocurrency coming across, coming aboard, people do not want to be controlled. They believe whoever works hard should get there. Without the limitations of the world, of the political systems, the economic establishments, the structures of the IMF and World Bank. That's why.
And the trust. How do you trust these currencies? Right now, I think Dogecoin is on the rise. So, how do I even start? If I'm black, if someone like Moses out there listening has no idea about cryptocurrencies, but then they know because it's always in our social medias. We understand it's booming. People are making crazy money. The numbers look good. How do I get to understand this now?
Of course, you have to read. You have to read extensively. Like the way you saw that everything new usually when something comes up, people always have that fear of the unknown, and again there is lack of information. Information is scanty. The thing is, you should read extensively and see how you can tap into the opportunity. When social media just come like Facebook, like we could just hear about it. It was something like, magical. You couldn't imagine like I'm on a platform, I can talk to someone on the phone. But the young people that went there so fast, they'll tell you that I've been on Facebook for like 10 years. And then some people have just joined recently because they feared. So I think people have to read. Some information is actually, maybe we believe it's intentionally not exposed out from some countries, like in Africa. Information has its own way of coming so late. Like
that's it really, because I think now we're in a world, in the digital world, I think we're embracing digital very well. Information gets to you how you want to. The faster you know how to sense it, to know how to differentiate between the noise and the better information, the better.
That's why I've said that people in Africa should interest themselves, especially young people, in reading extensively and getting information. Yeah, because if you don't get it, like, man, no one is going to bring things to you. You see what that? Like, for example, I'll tell you that when I go to some of these podcasts and get hosted, someone will ask you, how do you get in touch with Facebook? Like, now you talk with the executives, you make things work out.
Exactly, but if you want, talk to me about that. What is the process of and what's like your, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing, your like job description with these companies. Facebook, what's your arrangement?
I would say I'm a liaison. You see, what these tech companies want, like, they may not necessarily employ you to work, for them to pay you. Because some of us are like, you also have a personal career.
Exactly.
You would want to be attached to a company, like, maybe you're not yet ready to work with them. But they already have trusted liaisons in a continent, in a country. Like,
and what does a liaison do?
A liaison is like your watchdog on the ground. For example, I'll tell you that I had a very big role in doing the elections here in Uganda.
Alright.
Watching over. I wouldn't say that I was censoring content, because I know there are things that happen during the elections where
there was
accounts of the government and pro NRM were suspended.
So are you involved in making sure the NRM bloggers get suspended?
No, not at all. My job was to interlink, especially those schemes that are in public policy, that these tech companies like Facebook and Twitter, to interlink them with the electoral commission officials to see how they can use these platforms to make sure the conversation is healthy online, and even supporting them. But most of the things I did was majorly to make sure that there is clean content for candidates, where the visibility of candidates, for presidential candidates, is key. That's why you realize that within that period, there was verification of social media pages for presidential candidates, which something I was coordinating personally as an individual. Not necessarily working for Facebook.
Every presidential candidate got verified, by the way. Focus on that. I think you did a very good job on that.
So for me, my job, talking to these people was, I'm on ground and they could trust me. And truth be told.
So what are you talking in this case? Telling them that I think Katumba is okay.
I'll tell them that this is what is happening and I think we need to do this. And again, like I told you, that with the liaison, because you're not vetted through the recruitment processes of the other company, it has something to do with what are you doing in that country, who are you in that country. And one thing I want to tell you that the university I work for is a big brand.
That is for fact. Makerere is
because
it's prestigious.
Yes, the moment I introduced myself to these brands as staff based at the University of Makerere, like it catches them very fast, and the trust.
So the social capital you develop along with the brand helps your personal career.
It helped me so much. Like I would say that when I moved from Africell and joined Makeover, I have gained very many things being at Makeover as an individual than when I was at Africell. The brand is.
What are some of those things you think that before we go into the Africell thing, at Makerere, you think that your digital regime has introduced, you think you should be proud of? That you know what, because I am now under Makerere and running digital, these things are now in place and this is happening. What are some of your success stories on just Makerere Digital?
Thank you very much for actually asking that question. When I joined Makerere University, the university was present online, but it was present online because they had benchmarked universities outside Uganda, in the world, and we were like, they have Twitter accounts. But there was no activity. I think, truthfully, you can also know that there was no activity from the university. And again, it wasn't looked at as a thing, as something that can support the PR function in the university. For me, that was the main component. Like, there was social media, but the university was not looking at it as something that can support its PR function.
Yeah.
Today, you can see that Makerere University communicates on social media every day about things that happen there.
One thing I know about pushing PR is the guys who push PR are doing a lot of bad things. Now, when you see PR for harm, of course, you know that there's something fishy in the background.
Yes.
So why is Makerere focusing on pushing PR, and why are you pumping up the PR system?
Yes.
Yet, if things are good, they should be good.
Yes. No. You see, everything. You see, I'll delve into Uganda.
Which is
where we have a saying that Sivambi edibya mutere. Oba muita mutere, I don't know.
Sivambi edibya mutere, something like that.
Yes.
I actually know the saying.
Yes. So, when you have good products and don't put them out there for people to see, you end up like, people will not know what you're doing. Like, they'll say like, we don't know what's happening there. And of course, Makerere has some pride. They will tell you that we don't advertise. Of course, Makerere doesn't advertise. If you are going to put out there, they are calling for admission. You never send it on TV or radio that we are calling people to come and apply because it's a brand that is there. But there are certain things we need to do. If there is research being done in the university, you have to tell people because it's part of disseminating research. You don't do it, and that's what was happening. The university will do research and then we keep it there. Yeah. But now, if you have social media, you use social media to disseminate research because people have to know what you're doing. Yeah, but there is nothing so bad going there. Even if you look at Harvard,
true.
In what I do, it has a very big presence online, my friend. Like for them, even a course.
But we also now have the course. We have these courses online with Makerere. But my friends who are at the university right now, because I left the university, I didn't even finish. The system is very frustrating, by the way. So that's going for another day. So, my friends claim that the online has been a struggle. Lecturers were already not coming physically, but now with the links and everything, studying is almost close to zero. People are they're having a lot of free time, and this is coming from close friends who are very dedicated to their lives.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. When it comes to the shift in line, it didn't only affect African universities. It affected even big universities we know. Actually, it's on record that our vice chancellor, our vice chancellor is a member of
the good professor.
Yes, he's a member of the executive of the Association of Commonwealth Universities.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an association of 500 universities across the globe that are under the Commonwealth. So he's a member of the executive. But for the meetings he has been on, people in what we call developed countries, leaders, academic leaders, they have been asking him, like, how have you done it, like, to make sure that you continue to run normally. So for me, I think the resilience of universities during COVID-19 has been the biggest thing. It is very clear that even professors, most of them are seeing these techniques for the first time. A professor right now, I think if a university has a younger professor, these professors are not 40 years. The youngest it can be, because in the rise of someone becoming a professor, you cannot tell that you have, like, there is a university that has 30 professors who are 40 years. So there must be 40 years going forward, 40, 50, 60. So if someone is 40 years, it means by the time they did their PhD or undergraduate, there was no Zoom.
That's true.
The adaptability to technology was not there. So there is that difficulty.
How does the good professor manage to keep up to date?
The good professor is just dynamic and is someone who embraces new technologies.
I see.
Yeah, and I think everyone is asking him how has he managed to stay at the university in such hard times. Of course, we've had challenges. You see, sometimes a leader is tested during such times.
The biggest challenges.
If you're always on a smooth ride, people will never say that they have tested them.
When are we ever going to have a strike-free Makerere? Give me your personal opinion.
It's there. I mean, now ever since it became VC, how many strikes have you had? Of course, the spirit of getting out strikes from an institution, it's not like it's a gradual process. Even
so, are you saying the strikes have reduced to the good professor? Because I have not, of course, been keeping count.
Yes, they have reduced, But for me, I would say it's something so much to learn about.
Yeah.
Because when you look at African universities, the way they were formed, these were revolutionary universities. You understand?
Yes.
So the issue of strikes in universities is not about discipline. Because you would say, why isn't the university that brings in the top, sharp students from the country?
Produces the most
Yes, and again the top, guys in all sectors. Again the strikes. No, it's just the exchange of ideas, the consortium of good ideas and sharp brains that always cause that kind of, because when people are so much concentrated in one area, they are all intelligent.
Yes.
There's one person who remarked that the challenge with leading Makeover is one. Everyone is brilliant up there at the hill. Like you have these lecturers who are there, these people who have their first class degrees from undergraduate up there. Then you have students who have gotten 25, by then we were doing 25 when I said the level.
Yeah.
Now the kids have 20 out of 20 in the aggregates at A level. And if you have all these sharp minds, you cannot tell me that they will never boil up.
That is true.
That's why
that is logical to me now. Yeah. It is, and now too, because if we embrace the digital now that you're at the digital helm of the university, how are we looking at including systems like blockchain to protect? Because there's a very increasing, how can I term it? Rate at which people complain about missing marks, marks getting lost in the process, information track, and we're now into the digital world where these things can as smoothly be integrated and people are getting their marks. Because I'll tell you a story. My cousin, Huntington, had to struggle with his papers back and forth, but I know for a fact he's a very dedicated man. I passed my high school because I was banking on his books, to read through his books. He was very organized, but he was a class ahead of me always. So I know that the university frustrated him, and my other friends, I have friends that have told me about this process. So how is the university looking at including secure systems, now like the blockchain system, because it could really be something?
Yeah, like I've told you that there was a challenge of the university being that traditional university, transiting and accepting that technology is the way to go, tech is the way to go to advance their systems. The rigidity is there, and you have to give it to the systems in place. Sometimes if you allow to embrace something when you're not clear about it, be sure it will cause problems. So the university's fears to transit to technology were maybe real because the end user was not aware of the technology. So the university would say that if we open up this, it may cause problems to us. But this is the time right now for them to acknowledge that we are supposed to move. And if someone told me, like I was a student, in 2012 I was joining the university, right now I feel the systems now that are there are a bit advanced as to what we used to have back then when we were students.
So you're saying it's a gradual process, and we should
technology. Yeah, we are implementing systems. We are embracing technology as also new and young staff during the university. Because the challenge was you have a staff like who is
on ratio or on scale. How would you rate the inclusion of young people into the university administration?
It's not really so much. Not so much.
But I'm happy someone like you is at the helm of digital.
Yeah, it's not so much because of the recruitment procedures in public institutions. Yeah, like people.
So it is a whole broad chain from how the country is run in general. Yeah,
of course. If you look at the way people are into public service, blah blah. But I think the university is realizing that they need to have more young people dynamic. And the more these are, and again, like I was going to tell you, the HR policies in our country, I would say they are dead because no one should be now hiring someone on a permanent and pensionable contract in this world. Even because we copied this from our, foreign rulers who were here, but they transited. Today, if you go in these universities in developed countries, they hire people on contract. They get young people energetic, like they hire you because, for example, if you hire someone on a permanent and pensionable contract in an ICT department, but remember ICT evolves.
Exactly.
It evolves.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have someone, you hire him at age 30 and tell him that you are permanent and pensionable in the ICT department. Because by the time this guy, because they're supposed to retire at 60. By the time this guy gets 50, he cannot adopt the new. The
energy levels are down onto...
Not even energy, but even the trends in tech are changing. So there should be an age ceiling. Like you said, if you don't, between 30 and 40, you don't work in the ICT department of the university. So that means that people who are hired in the ICT department should be on contract. 4 years contract, they promote you. You're going to another unit that requires someone to be
reassessed.
Yeah. You can be taken in another area at the university that hires people who are like 50, where you need someone who is a bit older, but there are certain units. So I was saying that the HR policies in our countries are defunct. And I think government is realizing now that we cannot run the same model. So the university was affected in such a way that you could have someone who is hired at 40, and again you'll be with him, he's waiting for his retirement, but you have energetic and young people as your customers. They want things to be done very fast. Like if they want to. So I think that is one of the things that was affecting us, and I believe the HR laws are being changed. And for me, I would assure you that we should trust the process. If the universe has been top-notch for now 100 years, it is going to continue to be. Because it will take 100 years for Uganda to have another universities like Makerere. Yeah.
Totally agree. Now, to jump away from Makerere, let us go into you, as Mathias Ssemanda.
Yes.
How do you choose this career of digital? Because it's a new trend. The digital world, the social media, marketing, all these, the YouTube generation is. How do you adopt so fast as an individual to get here? Because now you're working as lives with Facebook, and you're getting bigger contracts with Makerere, formerly from Africell. How do you place yourself in the middle there and achieve?
I think for me, I would appreciate one thing. I've grown up like any other person, like any other Ugandan who has struggled from back there. I didn't grow up in Kampala. I grew up in the rural district in Omansi, which was initially part of Masaka, but when they cut these districts, they went away district and it's called Omansi. But when I was growing up, it was Masaka. So I grew up, I started in the village. Most of my primary was, not most, but my whole primary was in the village down there. Then I went to schooling, I went and studied in Kalangala. There is a school there where I studied. So I will entirely say I came in Kampala in 2012. So for someone who sees someone who is rising like me, they would say, maybe this guy was in the
Oh, that is very, very interesting. You came to Kampala in 2012.
Yes.
And you have...
Yes. Yes. I came in Kampala in 2012 just to join university. And that's why if someone sees me defending the credibility of an institution like Makerere, I know I have personal reasons, because I was made at Makerere for the 3 years I was there, just 3 years as a student. Because I had that love for tech, but I didn't get enough chance to get exposed to technology. Because
Did you do a tech-related course?
No.
Alright.
Because my secondary school, I told you that for the 6 years I was in Kalangala. I was studying in Kalangala for the 6 years. So there was not so much of investment in technology in the school I was. But I had the art. So when I came to Makerere, at that level, the university had already invested in technology. There was internet in the university. So alongside my course that I was doing, I continued to engage and explore ICTs in the university. I could use the free internet of that university. The good thing with Makerere is it gives an opportunity to someone who has come from any background to find their way out. So I think that's what I credited. Like at Makerere, you find someone who has come from the higher class, someone who's come from the middle class, and someone who's from the lowest. And they find a way. We all find a way of settling in there. And then the university gives us opportunity. So for me, the university just gave me an opportunity to believe in myself and get started. So when I was at university, I realized one challenge was the lack of, there was a communication gap between the administration and the students. But this communication gap was based on the reason, was because the university was not adapting new media technologies. Because for me, I would be on social media, as a student, and I would see a letter written by the Vice Chancellor, like on WhatsApp. You understand? So I realized that the Vice Chancellor was communicating using letters. But I was like, what if this Vice Chancellor went on the page and then WhatsApp and communicated this? It means I would see it before the situation goes out of hand. Yeah. That's how strikes used to come, because there was a lack of communication. So I saw that problem, and when I graduated, I had already started investing in myself, knowing so much how to use social media platforms. I joined hands with my friend who was, for him, he grew up in Kampala, but we started together in Kalangala, those Tamil kids. The parents supported a nice school in Kalangala. I told him to go study in Kalangala. So we met in Kalangala. For him, he was from Kampala, but studied there.
And he told you about Kampala?
Yes, he told me about Kampala. Then when we came to Makerere, it was really nice city, and I told him, you know what, I think we can invest in new media technology. So we set up our company. We opened up a company. It wasn't doing so good.
Yes.
But what we offered to do for some of the Makeover, by that time students had events. I just graduated and we told them, we have a company, we can do digital marketing for you, we can advertise for you on social media, and then you just put our brand there on your banners.
But when you started this company, you went all out, you got money, you made it attractive, registered.
No, what we got was money to register the company.
All right.
We had a client, these clients, you met a client tells you, I want you to do for me social media. Like, you create for me social media pages. By the way,
I have a lot of those myself.
Some people come and tell you that I want you to create for me a Facebook page, especially guys who are in their 50s.
Yes.
They have a business.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what social media is.
But they understand a thing or two about me.
So this guy called us and told us that, you guys, I want you to create for me social media pages. I'm like, this guy is going to pay us just to create social media pages. I told my friend we can do this. So the guy gave us money, like 500,000, and we used that 500,000 to register our company. Our company is called Quatico. The idea of the name Quatico comes from the word Quatico.
Yeah, the Quatico keyboard?
Yeah. So I got the first
that's genius, man.
And we created a company called Quatico. We registered it, we didn't make any money. But what I was saying is, I had the idea of developing this company, to become so big as a digital marketing agency. Because my benchmark was a Blue Flamingo. I like the way young people like Ssemanda used to do their things. So I said, we registered it. We told these, the students had an event called First of Mook. I think you've ever heard about it. So we told them, you guys are going to put our logo on your banners. For us, our job is going to be to market your event on social media. Me and my friend, we're just two people. So we created social media accounts for the First of Mook. We started running them. We could learn some students at Makeover to just tweet about the event. Nothing so much we're doing. So when these guys went to Africell, I think Africell was their biggest sponsor by then.
Yeah.
So Africell, the marketing manager was calling Muhammad and told them, we're seeing a lot of buzz about First of Mook on social media. We want to see the agents that is responsible for social media presence. So when we are going to go back to negotiate the sponsorship package Africell was going to give them, that's the assignment the guy gave them. He told them, you come with a company that is working on the social media presence. So the guys came and told me, because I didn't have a job, I was just there at campus. I could wake up, come from where I was staying, come in Makerere, be there. Just say,
be around.
Yes, be around.
Meet up some Wi-Fi.
Yes.
A few places.
Yes, and then say I have a company called Quatico. But if you ask me where is that?
How did you negotiate the deal to get the money now, the real money? How do you
No, actually for those First of Mook guys, they were not paying us. I was saying that for me, what we wanted was the PR value from them. They're not giving us money. You know, they are student events. They don't have money. They also look for sponsors.
It's genius that you also because one of the biggest problems with my young people in the digital world I've personally worked with, they are not willing to look into ideas like that.
Yes.
How you partner with brands to get the PR value and the bigger advantage than the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the PR value. And I'm telling you how it opened up my doors. So when these guys came, they told me, now we went to Africell. The guy told us, but before they tell us the artists, because Africell was offering artists.
Yeah.
And no money. Still, like I told you, they all look for. They don't give you, no one who gives them hard cash. So they told me, we are going to give, but before you tell the artists we are bringing at the grand finale of First of Mook, we want to you look at the company that's pushing your social media, so they can also mention us. Yeah. So they said, "You want to go with you?" I told them, "You guys, I don't have like a legit company, but what I have was my business cards." So they told me, "Want to go with you?"
Interesting.
So I told them, "No problem. You go with me. I'll go and we talk to them." So we went, and when we reached there, we sat in the meeting, and the guys like, "Introduce yourselves." The others were students because first of all, it was a student event. Yeah. So they were students, but it was me who was not a student. I was just a fresh graduate of the university. I just went in 2016, January, so the event usually happens in April. Yes. So I told him that for me, I'm not a student, I am just the owner, I'm the MD of Quatico.
Is Quatico now running Makerere Digital?
No. I'm at Makerere as an employee.
So,
okay. So the guy said, "Okay, you give me your business card." So when he gave me his business card, the guy kept on pushing me. He kept on contacting me to give them mentions. And we kept on mentioning Africell. Now they had a run. On the day of the run, this guy calls at the headquarters because by that time Africell was not aggressive on social media. They had the presence, but they were not active and aggressive. So he called the guys who were running the accounts and told them to send him the logins. So he gave me the logins. I was not an employee of the company, but he gave me the logins of the telecom's Twitter account. That was my first time to tweet on behalf of a brand, like a brand as big as that. He gave me the logins and told me, "You tweet for us." And I tweeted for them, like I sent like 3 tweets. My original content in my head, the pictures were there. And I think when he went ahead, he saw the buzz they got. By that time, Bobi Wine was leading the chief runner, he wasn't yet in politics. So they got so many retweets and shares because people love Bobi Wine anyway. Yeah. So he liked the buzz that came with Africell, like on social media that day. So he persuaded his bosses at Africell. Normally persuaded his bosses, and the bosses said,
"That it's you."
Yes, we can hire the CEO.
Interesting.
So he called me, hired me. So that's how I get into social media marketing. So I was at Africell. I realized that now this is a company I should use
to get somewhere,
to transform my agenda and put out my agenda as far as digital marketing is concerned in Uganda. Because with Africell, I have a platform. I am the head of social media comms here. When I say something, I can be listened to. So by that time, I had to disrupt the entire digital establishment. Brought in this thing of influencers coming to press conferences. Because for me, I was doing what comes to my mind. I was like, I think this works out. And I had a good boss who could help me do things. I told him, what if we bring these social media influencers away from Twitter, we bring them to press conference, and they tweet from here. That thing, we started doing it at Africell by that time. Bringing guys in large numbers to come and tweet, like on press conferences. Because press conferences by companies were only for media. But for me, I told them, no, you can bring the press guys to be here. But what if we bring these social media influencers to be on ground?
I remember I don't really think there were influencers in 2015. I ran one of the best digital campaigns as well.
Yes.
I was running a league, Makita 5-a-side. So it used to blow up a lot when because my friends who were tweeting again, the Lobsters, the Who's, Moogies, Thomas, all those guys, used to come to these games. My friend Mugi was not even in the country, but send money for people winning. But they used to all come and tweet at the same time. So it was very huge. Pepsi called it. Pepsi wanted to get into the juice, but the juice was not even registered. We didn't even have UBS. We're just a startup figuring out how we penetrate the market. But maybe juice was not really my calling, so I gave up on it. Like, you know what? No. Let me go and start a podcast and invite people and we listen to their stories. So I understand that how that worked for you is almost the same way it worked for me. It was really genius. Now, how did you choose career? I've spoken of career because you did not even do the tech world.
Yes.
How do you now find yourself at campus that now, you know what, this is where the money is?
When I was at Africell, by the way, when I was a student at Makerere, I somehow volunteered with the PR office of the university. Volunteered with the PR, not so much doing their work, but helping them reach out the information to students. So I was very known in the PR establishment of Makerere. because I was a leader at Makeover. When I was at Makeover, I was a minister in the guild. And I was also in the guild for 2 terms.
Are you going to go for elective politics? Usually people who start do you ever want to come for MP?
That's something I've not yet thought about, but in the future...
You don't dispute it?
I don't dispute it. Like,
right,
I don't dispute it. Like, in the future, I would rise up to be someone. Because
I have a story.
Leadership.
Yeah, and you want... Yeah. I really think, because I'm part of Top Bloggers as well, by the way, so I know that your leadership has been very commendable on that. So, school life, high school, who is Mathias Ssemanda, the person, character, the values that are building you.
Yes.
How are you differentiating your social life and the real life?
Yes. And
maybe how are you dealing with the effects that come with sharing a lot of the internet and things like that?
I think for me, what has built me is like where I've come from. I've told you about where I've come from.
Yes.
Yeah, I've come from. Of course, sometimes if me myself, I call it a humble background.
Yeah.
Someone else may dispute it, but I've told you, my first time to get into Kampala
was 2012, which is very, very.
So for me, I think when I look back where I come from and the situation down there, it helps me to think about where I'm supposed to go as an individual. Because it's not so good that it makes me feel comfortable. Like if I don't do work hard, like I will enjoy where I come from. It's also good down there. So it's very hard. So every time I feel
objective how to control habits, how not to really slack back.
Yes.
Some people are ages, you get taken up, you're working for a brand like Makerere, you notice that your exposure, I see you on flights here and there. So how do you
of course my father is a big mentor for me. Yeah, because of course he has exposed me to see life and how it is, and he has told me the story of our family and those values that he stands for. It's the same values I always stand for. Respecting people, like people above you, and respecting even colleagues, like even if someone is your age mate, you have to respect them. So I think for me, what always keeps me moving is always knowing where I've come from and where I'm going. Like I've told you, you see, for young people, when you fail to get to know where you've come from, sometimes you get challenges in realizing where you're going. Like I've told you, it's not comfortable down there, and I know. So my fear of going back to where I've come from
is extreme, is what drives
that. But of course, if you've grown up in an environment where you have everything, sometimes you don't know what being broke is. Sometimes, so you don't fear. You can take drugs.
My last podcast, my guest said they fear being broke. This is also what drives them.
Yeah.
So I think we are all locked into that catalog. This world. I personally think you cannot avoid being broke.
You can't, but at least the fear helps to keep.
And I also think rich or poor, like Eva, who was also once on the podcast, said, rich or poor should not be the distinction of how we really live life.
Yes.
Yeah, because people. But it's a good thing that drive is really motivational because money is very important. But the class thing like that is what I don't agree with.
Of course, no. We all want to change to impact lives. But you can't impact lives when you don't have money, because money drives everything. Like, for example, maybe I would be a better person, or like even more, if we didn't lack by then, why I grew up. Because if I look at kids at my age who have grown up in an area where they don't lack, maybe they have the capital to get things moving. Yeah, but if I didn't lack with my knowledge, if I had capital, my dad was up there, I think maybe I would have an empire, like business empire. So now I'm trying to build
this. Little by little. Just to maybe highlight, who is your best and why? Who is your best influencer and why?
My best influencer? I would say that my best influencer is my dad, who is not on social media. Because he has been so much into my life, and he has made me make some people better influencers. Because I know that there are young people who have given testimonies that they have become influencers because they have tapped into my knowledge, what I told them. So if it wasn't him, probably I wouldn't make some of these influencers around. Even musicians, like there's some musicians that have friends who are like in public life.
Yeah.
I'll share some of this private information of the podcast. Like there are public figures out there.
But I've seen some personally commend you.
Yeah. Yeah, there are even those that are controversial. Those I usually have their accounts, I monitor them. So for me, when I see content out there from a public figure, and it's very nice, it's on point.
What do you
when
think
I know
about,
that I have a hand in it,
what do you think about content creation as a rising industry producing the fastest millionaires? What would you tell to someone out there?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, content creation is producing the world's youngest millionaires, from the founders of companies to even those that create content themselves. For example, if you look at one of the richest people in the world is Mark Keron, and even others are also in content. Like, for example,
are just there making.
If you look at Jeff, Bezos, the guy is in Amazon. We know it as marketing, but of course, Washington Post is his. So he had also somehow put some content in content.
Media eyeballs make a lot of money.
So the owners, if the owners have money, it means that even us, like even young people are now creating and creating. If your ideas around that, you won't have a lot of money. If you look at YouTubers now, who are on YouTube, like there are guys who are making.
How does YouTube make money to the level? How does a young person who is looking into joining this, how would you think they get motivated with the numbers? How do you get viral tweets?
You just have to be original. You just have to be original, be yourself, and be creative. Because if you're creative but you're not original, the content is not original in yours. There's no way you can get. Like, people look out for something that really stands out, like from you, like that defines you from the others. So that means that you must be original. For example, guys like unbox therapy.
Yeah.
Like everyone does unboxing, and we all post. I've also ever done unboxing, and I posted some weird video on YouTube, but it did make views. But this guy, unbox therapy, is unique, and he has consistently done his thing with quality and preciseness. So, and everyone who does looks at unboxing a product.
There is one thing about the numbers I also think, but I agree on consistency. You really have to be consistent.
Yes.
But the metrics don't really, are not directly, I don't know, the numbers don't really show that this is good content.
Yes.
Because I could post good content, but then I don't get the numbers.
You don't get the numbers.
Yes, it happens. You could see a good tweet that has not gone viral, and you see it. And the internet is weird. People are more interested in bit funny things. Okay, people have different interests, and we are all there for. But it doesn't really convert that if my content is very good to your.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, there are those people who have the numbers, but the content is lacking.
Yeah.
But it depends which content is someone pushing. Because if someone is pushing content that is comical, because they may have defined themselves as comedians, that is their area of speciality. So yes, so what? Like, they are comedians and they are pushing vague content like it's comical.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people, of course, like, will follow more people who are in.
Is there a tip to making like something go viral? Like tips you take besides that it's good or bad. Now, I've made something and I want it to go viral. What would I have to do?
Of course, but like viral content. Apparently, when it comes to digital, viral content has to be extremely a sad affair, like extremely sad, or being entertaining, extremely entertaining. So if your content is not in that area,
you miss out on that.
You miss out.
Okay.
But like I've told you, for those other areas, it goes back to having a physical brand as anything that is so big. For example, if you're an author, you know that people don't like reading articles, but we have popular authors.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Like, so that when he's on Twitter, he has also a big following. So you first, if your area does not create, like doesn't lead to you creating like content that is so viral, you must focus on building that public image on ground, so that people know you like on ground. So that the moment you're on Twitter and social media, like everyone will be interested in following you for that particular person they know in real life.
So, what are your most outstanding brands?
Of course, here locally, I would say National Media Group, our bank leader. I won't look at their individual brands like MTV, KFM, Defunct. I would say National Media Group, Uganda, they are top notch. I like how they have redefined themselves as versatile brands that move with trends. I think that comes from their creativity in Kenya, their parent company. Yeah, but they're doing good. Like all their brands, I'll add them up. Yeah. Then I would also look at which other brand here really. Like I'm not saying like okay, Vision Group. Yes, I would give them a credit like for consistently being holding their position and not going down. Yeah. And in academia, I would give Makerere University plus. I admire it. I work there, so endorsing it in this question will also create a conflict of interest. But doesn't stop me from mentioning it. Yeah, that it's interesting, a good brand. Yeah. So the brands like again Capital FM, I also give them a plus. They're a good brand. They have topped up. Yeah. So
Alright.
those so many brands. Yeah.
That is really precisely it, Matthias. Do you, this will be like as we conclude, if your name has to survive in the future and really leave an impact and mark in this digital space, what is that legacy and plan you think you're looking at achieving?
Yes.
Before that?
Yeah, my plan
Yeah.
and what I look at achieving is impacting very many lives. I need to have as many people as possible that I've touched their lives.
Yeah.
People that know me, people that will give testimony that Mathias has influenced their lives at some point. You understand? Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at, like being able to have very many people in Uganda, and beyond Uganda, that will say that, yeah, Mathias is someone who has influenced in my life positively, and tremendous contributed to my life. And I am just, yeah.
Quite interesting.
So it doesn't matter which area of
field
I will be in, because I've told you that my life has been changing for the previous years. Like I've been here and there. I started as a digital marketeer. I left digital marketing. I went to digital diplomacy. Yes, I went to digital communications. I am leaving that trade. I'm now into digital diplomacy. So it doesn't matter where I will be, but at every step I should be able
to influence a few people.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. I also believe I'm on this earth to live fast like my father.
Yes.
Be a better human being every other day.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you for really accepting the invite.
Yeah.
This has been very good. I believe a few people that will listen to it will pick up so much to the digital space. I'll share with you.
Sure. I'll be looking forward to it, and I'll inform my followers about this interaction.
Okay, yeah, it's a big conversation with the ordinary people. It streams on all platforms and YouTube.
Okay. Like all platforms where people can get their podcasts.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, everything. We'll put it everywhere.